Welcome to Action News on KGDY. I'm Kelli Sunbeam. Dirk Hardthrottle is on assignment. In today's top story, both versions of Professor Horrificus, the one from this reality and the one from an alternate world, appeared at their trial for their alleged attempt to surround Phoenix, Arizona with a giant, impervious bubble. Said the attorney for this reality's professor,
"We are moving for a complete mistrial. My client and his alternate self are identical in every detail. Same fingerprints, same DNA, everything. There is no way the district attorney can prove which Professor Horrificus, if either of them, committed this horrid atrocity."
In response, the district attorney said,
"That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. And I was the lead prosecutor when the entire jury in the Emerald Enchanter's trial was turned into an aardvark. One aardvark."
My usual co-host, Dirk Hardthrottle, has gone to visit Dr. Constance Palindrome, a specialist in multidimensional travel, for a special look at her groundbreaking new procedure to establish the identities of individuals from different worlds. We take you now to... Just a moment, listeners. Really? All right. Listeners, in a first here at KGDY, one of Dirk Hardthrottle's meticulously researched reports is about to be preempted by himself. Dirk, care to comment?
Hi, Kelli. Things have taken quite a turn here.
Dirk, our connection is not that great.
Sorry, Kelli. I had to leave the transmitting equipment behind, so I'm on a cell phone. I came to meet Dr. Palindrome here at the Hall of Records, where she has planned to show me legal precedents allowing a scientific test which may help to determine which Professor Horrificus...
Dirk, what was that?
I may not have long to talk, Kelli. The Forget-Me-Lots gang has appeared. They have activated their amnesia beam and are doing their best to erase the minds of all the individuals they find here, whether they are specifically targeting Dr. Palindrome or myself, or whether this is simply another step in their continued efforts to erase all human knowledge outside of their control, has not yet been determined.
Dirk, given how insanely dangerous your current situation might be, don't you think it would be a good idea to, I don't know, get out of there before something terrible happens?
Trust me, Kelli. I am aware of the gravity of this situation. However, I have breaking news that cannot afford any delay. I spent some time perusing some documents here at the Hall of Records, and I believe I may have discovered the secret identity of Metrodelphia's own Captain Goody. This is by far the most important discovery of my journalistic career, and...
We interrupt this interview for some breaking news.
Are you kidding me?
Hey, somebody's over there!
Oh dear. I'll have to call you back, Kelli.
Well, here's hoping my usual co-host will be all right.
Kelli, I'm still waiting to interrupt Dirk.
And now, over to Sally Simpson.
Thanks, Kelli. I'm here at an undisclosed location surrounded by dangerous criminals who have abducted me.
Sally, I hate to ask, but since that happens to you as frequently as it does, can you be more specific?
Whoa. Hang on a minute. We're sorry for any confusion, Miss Simpson, but we certainly never abducted you.
No, not at all. We just asked you to come be a hostage in case we need one.
You see, we're having the biannual meeting of the Henchmen local chapter.
Wait, you asked me to come to a meeting of the Union for Henchmen Minions and Mooks?
Of course. I'm Helen Hench, and this is my brother Harry. We've been running these union meetings for many, many years.
Sure, it's a family tradition. There's no henchmen like the henches, we always say.
You're just here in case a superhero shows up and tries to arrest us.
Then we abduct you and use you as a hostage.
Oh, well, it's not the kind of scintillating journalism I'm known for through my many years
You may as well, Sally. I haven't heard back from Dirk yet, and it seems to be an otherwise slow news day.
If you say so, Kelli. Listeners, we now present a KGDY exclusive, actual minutes from the meeting of the dastardly assistants and sub-villains who make the actual supervillainy in this city possible.
You know, that could be offensive. Except we voted that in as a mission statement last meeting.
All right, the minutes from the last meeting being entered without objection, we move on to new business. 2 years ago, we voted to use the gender-neutral phrase henchperson instead of henchmen in all professional situations.
However, we received some complaints from a clientele. Apparently, adding an extra syllable makes it more difficult to cry out expressions like, "Save me from this infernal do-gooder, my loyal hench poisons," without first being knocked out.
We would therefore like to propose the following terminologies to be listed as, quote, acceptable use in all contracts, binding agreements, or calls to arms. Henchfolk, henchers, henchling, henchkin.
Sorry, was I interrupting something?
Actually, yes. We're having a meeting here, and—
Silence! It is I, Mandusa, brother of the Gorgons, terror of the ancients, and all around not the nicest of fellas.
Listeners, I can confirm that it is indeed Mandusa, one of the most dangerous villains in the whole of Metrodelphia. Even now I see him standing before me with his serpentine hair follicles and a blank white mask, the latter to cover up the hideous and repulsive visage, which the very sight of is like to cause even the most powerful of all beings to turn into stone. For such is the fate of all who look upon his odious and abominable—
Okay. Can we maybe chill with the adjectives? I'm ugly, I get it. You really had to bring the reporter?
It's in the bylaws.
Of course it is. Look, I've got a scheme brewing and I need lackeys. I don't have time to fill out Form 367 in triplicate.
Why is it so urgent that you get a replacement receipt for services?
367 isn't the form for hiring a boatload of hired muscle?
I think he wants 376. He said lackeys, but I'm getting the sense that he needs general minion assistants with a few specialized henchmen.
Hench persons.
Hench persons, yeah.
Form 376?
Yep.
Well, I have even less time to fill that out now that we've had this pointless discussion. As of now, your entire organization works for me. I shall call you my dreadlocks.
Well, we have arranged for special rush hirings in the past. I should warn you, though, it can be really expensive.
Oh, no worries. I'll give you the most priceless gift of all. Come and work with me, and I'll let you keep your lives!
It looks like Mandusa is planning a dreadful and devastating attack on Metrodelphia. We'll see if our own Sally Simpson can learn what it is, and hopefully discover what's happening to my co-host, Dirk Hardthrottle, right after this.
Mom, she's doing it again.
My daughter was born with precognitive powers. She, like 0.0001% of children born this year, can see into the future. Other parents worry about food allergies. I just want my daughter to stop telling strangers on the street the exact date they're going to die. Like every child, mine just wants to fit in. Sometimes, though, something as simple as playing a board game with her little sister can be a challenge.
She keeps telling me what I'm gonna roll. It's no fun to play with her.
All that changed when we sent away for our very own set of random rollers. The only dice made not from Aroundarium. That's right, because the dice are made from a substance not from this reality. Precognitive powers don't work on them. Now, every Tuesday is game night in our household.
I like the way I can pick them up and move them, but I can't actually feel them in my hand.
And thanks to Random Roller's new patent-pending system of acquiring not from Aroundarium, the dice are 96% less likely to open up a portal to another dimension and force you to fight to the death with your own evil doppelganger.
Yeah, last time my doppelganger showed up, we just started all over again and let him play too.
Random Rollers, available at Corpomart.
Hey, Nancy.
Hi, Karen.
So, how was the blind date last night?
Awful. The worst. I seriously considered stabbing myself in the foot to have an excuse to leave.
That bad?
I wish I could go back in time and tell myself not to go on that date.
Well, you almost can.
What?
Sure. Just reach out to Captain Spinback at captainspinback.com.
Oh, you mean the guy who can fly so fast he reverses the rotation of the Earth and turns back time?
That's right, Nancy. And his services can be yours. Just write a letter to your past self and Captain Spinback will deliver it.
Sounds expensive.
Not if you pay cash. Captain Spinback takes your cash with him when he flies back in time. It's like you never even paid him, because you haven't yet.
Wait, then if I never pay him in the future,
how does he keep the cash when I won't have ever given him any...
Nancy, do you want to try to figure out chronological economic theory? Or do you want to erase that bad date from history?
CaptainSpinback.com?
CaptainSpinback.com.
And now over to weather with the Countess of Clouds.
And lo, there shall be this day a light dusting of snow. Enjoy this wintry panorama as ye may, for it shall be followed by a strong downpour of freezing rain as the sun begins to set. Verily I declare, in many roads there shall be a danger of that most foul of winter's treachery, black ice. Sliding, injury, and automotive damage are sure to befall this city. Beware all ye who travel after the sun shall set. So let it be!
Oh my. Countess, black ice is very dangerous, as you say. Could you maybe use your powers to prevent it?
No, Kelly. It may not be. My powers are concentrated elsewhere at the moment.
Doing what, exactly?
How many hurricanes have struck the Metrodelphia harbor in the past 40 years?
Well, none, but...
You're welcome.
I see. Well, listeners, we now turn to a segment we haven't done for quite some time. It's my very great pleasure to bring back Heidi Bravada with Sports Summary. Howdy, Heidi.
It's great to be back, Kelly.
So, why has it been so long since we've heard from you?
Well, as you know, there have been a lot of scandals in Metrodelphia sports over the past few years. First, when the Major League Baseball team, the Metrodelphia Comets, all turned out to be the doppelgangers of the same man, who kept making more copies of himself to keep the team off the injury list.
And then our football team, the Metrodelphia Gamma Rays,
suspended for an entire season for implanting performance-enhancing cybernetics on the team. That was, of course, followed by an investigation into the incredible hang time on display by our city's beloved basketball team, the Metrodelphia Mutants. That, of course, revealed anti-gravity plates had been hidden in their shoes, apparently unbeknownst to the players.
That was about when I started watching a lot of hockey.
You and oh so many other Metrodelphians, Kelly. Shame about that. First, the Metrodelphia Martians came under fire from real Martians for racial insensitivity. Then, after they'd changed their name to the Metrodelphia Good Guys, a bunch of other things went wrong. The vendor selling buffalo chicken in the stadium was found to have genetically crossed an actual buffalo with a chicken. Then there were accusations that the goalie, Arthur Pode, might secretly have had 4 extra arms, which he may or may not have used in some games. And finally, a villain named Captain Zamboni blew the whole stadium to Kingdom Come.
So, what's left for Metrodelphia sports fans, Heidi?
Well, that's what brings me here. It turns out Metrodelphia has a team with a real shot going to the championships this year, and there's virtually no chance of performance-enhancing scandals. I'm, of course, talking about the Metrodelphia Icebergs.
I'm sorry, I'm not precisely familiar with that team. They play what sport precisely?
Curling.
Curling?
Curling! We have easily the best skip in the league, and 2 sweepers who can almost redefine the sport. Tonight's game against the Urban Town Yetis is going to be a real grudge match that no sports fan is going to want to miss. It'll be so amazing.
All right, well, we'll keep an eye out for it. Now, over to traffic with our eye in the sky, Chopper Ned. Can we expect traffic at Corpo Mart Stadium in anticipation of the big curling game tonight?
Maybe a little later on, Kelly. I don't know how much enthusiasm for curling we can expect, but for right now, it looks like most of Metrodelphia has cold feet. There is an accident over near the Art District where the 2-dimensional Avenger encountered an amorphous mass which witnesses described as yellowish-brown color brought to life.
What happened?
Well, the Flatmobile lost a wheel and the ochre got away. Back to you, Kelly.
Okay. Well, I have a text from my co-host, Dirk Hardthrottle. He tells me, quote, Captain Goody is SS. Not sure why he thinks Captain Goody is a boat. So let's head on over to Sally Simpson to find out if she's still alive and what on earth is going on with her.
Thanks, Kelly. The situation has become entirely grave. Mandusa has forced the members of the Henchmen Union to set up dozens of holographic projectors around the outside of the building. He's currently working on a satellite uplink.
And what will that do?
It will spread a holographic image of my face to every point on the globe. That is, unless I'm paid a paltry sum of $2 billion.
And I should mention that he's been standing right next to me listening to my earpiece.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, Mr. Mandusa, but we really need to discuss something.
Let me guess. You've come to renegotiate your salary.
Of course not. We're henchfolk. Do my bidding or I'll kill you is a standard reimbursement package.
We completely understand the ground rules here, but we just need to fill out these, 7 forms.
In quadruplicate.
It's standard letters to the next of kin, insurance certificates, documentation of likely cause of death, and the like.
It's for your protection as much as ours.
Oh. That makes a great deal of sense. What a reasonable and insightful request, and delivered with such respect for my power as your superior. How could I possibly say no?
Oh, that's great. We'll just go off.
How can I say no? I'll tell you how I can say no. I'm evil. That's how I can say no. Now get out of here before I... Oh, drat, is that what I think it is?
You mean Captain Goody's theme music?
I mean his funeral dirge. All right, Captain Goody. I know you're coming for me. Show yourself.
Consider myself shown.
Listeners, Captain Goody has just appeared on the scene, making his entrance through the ceiling.
Hello, Sally. Are we still on for dinner tonight?
Well, I was hoping so. But there was the small matter of Mandusa's evil plot to consider.
Excuse me. Can we at least do me the courtesy of acknowledging that I'm about to kill you before making dinner plans?
Mandusa, we've danced this tango before.
And now it's time for someone to cut in. Minions, attack!
Hang on. Did you actually want the minions to do the attacking?
That would usually be the job for the Mooks.
I don't care about your union designation. You know what? Fine. Mooks, attack! What? Now!
Well, he's kinda all the way up there.
We can't punch him when he's flying up near the ceiling.
So shoot him!
Oh, I think I see what the problem is. He didn't read Form 722.
Oh, obviously. Look, Mac, I'm sorry, but we got you registered as a Class C supervillain. As said in Form 722, you're responsible for supplying your own specialized weaponry to be used in the event of a superhero attack.
Standard protocol? We don't even bring regular guns to work for someone like you. It'd just be too expensive paying for all the ammunition that just bounced off the superhero's chest anyway.
Now, if you have your own plasma cannons stored somewhere, we'd be happy to break them out. Or if you would have let us know, we could have put you in touch with some union-approved suppliers.
I got a buddy down at Mad Scientist Local number 223 who makes the best heat beams in the business.
Enough! All right, Captain Goody. You may have cleverly thwarted my army of henchmen.
Henchfolk.
Don't interrupt.
Sorry.
And not to burst your bubble, but as far as thwarting goes, all I did was fly. It's kind of what I do.
That's it. I'm taking off the mask. You're turning to stone. And you know what? The people of the world now owe me $3 billion.
Ah, yes. About the mask.
Ah! What did you do?
A little bit of freeze breath froze that mask to your face.
That is really cold.
It is called freeze breath.
When I get out of this...
Oh, before you finish that thought, Harry, Helen, are you two seeing the same thing I am?
You mean the supervillain who has been threatening our lives and forcing us to work with no pay, now having no way to actually carry out that threat?
Wait. Stop.
We do see that. Yes.
I thought you might.
This is so gonna be worth all the paperwork.
Anyway, Sally, I was thinking Thai food. Shall we?
It looks like the day is saved, Kelly. I'm off to an early dinner.
We're so glad everything's all right, Sally. An update on the situation with Professor Horrificus. Judge Morton has agreed to the district attorney's request that the prisoners be extradited to the alternate dimension from which the alternate professor, whichever one of them that is, hails from. The laws in that alternate dimension do not allow for an alternate reality defense, and legal experts agree both Professor Horrificuses are in serious legal trouble. And now... Oh, listeners, that's my co-host Dirk Hardthrottle calling the station back. Dirk, are you all right?
I'm all right, Kelly. I'm happy to report that I've been saved as a result of Metrodelphia's Hero Exchange program with our sister city in Germany. 2 minutes ago, the German super speedster Blitzen Schnell arrived, and he's so far captured all but one of the Forget-Me-Lots gang. As that last gang member is no doubt fleeing from the scene, I feel confident that I can step out from undercover where the reception will be better and reveal, finally, that Captain Goody's secret identity is none other than...
There he was. I wondered where that reporter got to.
Ah, thank you for coming out of hiding, my friend. And you, Herr Reporter Man, you should be more careful.
Dirk? Dirk, are you all right?
Kelly? Is that you? How did I get to the Hall of Records?
Ah, the amnesia beam. If I had a nickel for every time I've seen this. Come, let me bring you where you belong.
Dirk?
Speedy delivery. You take care of him now, yeah?
Absolutely. Danke, Herr Blitzenschnell.
Bitte schön. Plop.
Kelly, can you explain anything that just happened?
Not before time's up, Dirk. We'll be back next news hour for a wrap-up of today's news once I bring my co-host up to speed on what he missed. And maybe call a doctor. For now, I'm Kelli Sunbeam.
And I'm Dirk Hardthrottle. And remember, if you're not wearing tights, stay out of the fight.
Stay tuned, listeners.
You have been listening to KGDY, Episode 6, produced by Seat of Our Pants Players, written and directed by Dan Wenzel. News theme and Take a Chance by Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com, licensed by Creative Commons under Attribution 3.0. Other music and sound effects by www.freesfx.co.uk. Kelly was Brianna Kuby. Dirk and the District Attorney were Rick Tennant. Harry Henchman and Blitzen Schnell were Adam Gastingy. Helen Henchman and Karen were Andy Gastingy. The Countess of Clouds, the lawyer, and Mom were Liz Music. Heidi Bravado and Nancy were Rebecca Scheimer. Mandusa and Chopper Ned were Andrew Dell. Sally Simpson was Jill Wenzel. Captain Goody and his alter ego were Dan Wenzel. And Little Sister was Morgan Gastingy. Of course she gets final billing. Did you hear her? She was adorable.